Hiya, I'm Julia. And when I was 13, my dad got remarried to a woman 10 years his junior. This woman who became my stepmom was a devil to me whenever he wasn't around. My mother had passed away when I was about 5 years old, and the older I get, the more my memories fade of her. My father raised me until I was 13, in which him and I always bonded together. We would go out fishing and enjoy days out on the lake together, or we would get ice cream once a week at our local parlor. But when my stepmom came into the picture, that was all ripped to shreds. My father had a new focus, and at first I was happy he had finally found love after being widowed and alone for so long. But soon, I would come to find out it would be my living nightmare. My stepmother's name is Martha. I initially thought Martha would be a very kind woman to me, as I was just turning 13 and thought maybe she would become a motherly figure to me. Maybe teach me how to curl my hair or put on eyeshadow and blush. I couldn't have been more wrong. When I first met her at a dinner with my dad, she seemed very sweet, but as the weeks went by, I noticed her starting to make sly comments to me and pierce me with judging glares whenever father wasn't looking. Soon, Martha moved into our home. That's when everything went downhill. My father ended up leaving on a business trip and thought Martha and I would have girl bonding time. She used my dad's trip to fully make me aware of her ulterior motives and intentions. She wanted my father's money and didn't want me getting in her way. In order to oppress me, she made me clean the house for hours while my dad was gone on business for 2 weeks. During that period of time, it was hell. I would scrub the wooden floors with a tiny brush and floor cleaner. Then Martha would track mud along the freshly cleaned floors. Oops, she smirked at me with a malicious stare in her eyes. Did I do that? Guess you'll have to redo the floors. And she proceeded to track her footprints all along the floors. At night, when I got some form of reprieve away from her in order to rest and prepare for all the household chores I was to do the next day, I would cry myself to sleep, curling into a ball, pleading to the universe to make this woman go away. Every night, I hoped she would disappear when I awoke in the morning. But every morning, I woke up to the sound of her banging pots and pans to get me up to do chores or pouring a bucket of water on my head. When my father returned, her lists of chores for me became even more extensive because my father would only be back for a day or two before leaving longer and longer on business. She never allowed me to leave the house. I was completely and utterly controlled and hopeless. Right now, I'm still here living with this monster of a stepmom. I hope one day to be free of her cruel torture. What's your story? True Tales wants to hear it. If you also have any such moment, you can share it in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you liked my story. Subscribe to this channel to watch more such videos, and press the bell icon for more updates.
Hey there, my name is Samantha. My boyfriend Andy and I had only been dating for a few months when he took me by surprise one evening. "Marry me?" he beamed, opening a small box to reveal a sparkling ring. "Yes," I smiled as he slipped it on my finger. He made me very happy, and he got on well with my 3 kids, so I was excited. I announced our engagement on Facebook. A few days later, a message appeared in my inbox from a woman I didn't know. "Just a warning. Andy likes younger women," she wrote. "He'll end up leaving you for one." "Who the hell is this?" I demanded, showing Andy the message. He rolled his eyes. "My ex," he said. "Ignore her. She's just bitter." I believed him. In time, we married in our local registry office. I wore a beautiful white dress with a sparkly tiara and felt like a princess. Not long after, Andy came home one day and told me he'd invited one of his customers over for dinner. He worked as a driving instructor. "Hope that's okay?" He asked me. I think you two will get on. Sure, I shrugged. I was always open to meeting new people. He said her name was Claire. That night, she came over with her 16-year-old daughter, Beth. And sure enough, Claire and I got on like a house on fire. After that first dinner, we started seeing each other regularly. Then sometimes, when Andy and I wanted a night out, Beth would babysit for us. She's a nice girl, isn't she? Andy smiled. After she'd left one night, a good kid, I agreed. A couple of weeks later, Andy came to speak to me. Beth's having some problems with her mom, he said. Mind if she stays here for a bit? She's 16, Andy. Teenagers always have problems with their parents, I said. Come on, just for a bit. She's not in a good way, he said. Fine, I sighed. But I'll have to speak to Claire about it first. She was fine with it when I called her. Maybe time apart will do us good, Claire said. Beth moved in and helped me around the house and with the boys. Then, one day, I was in the yard when one of my neighbors came over for a chat. Beth and Andy are very close, she said. The way she said it implied she thought there was more to it. Are they? I asked. She follows him around like a puppy dog, she said. After that, I paid more attention. She was right. Beth was like Andy's little shadow. I assumed she saw him as a father figure. There was a 28-year age gap between them, so I was sure there couldn't be anything more to it. But then, one morning, when I was in the bedroom, when my 8-year-old son came bursting in. Mommy, I need to tell you something, he said. He made me come down to his level and then whispered, I saw Beth and Andy kissing. What? I yelped. They were kissing behind the lounge room door, he said. He looked worried, and I knew he wasn't lying. Jumping up, I stormed downstairs. Andy, Beth, I barked. I need to speak to you both now. They appeared, looking flustered. Tyler has just told me that he saw the two of you kissing, I said. They both burst out with laughter. What a load of rubbish, Andy said. He's old enough to be my dad. Beth giggled. Precisely, I said, glaring at her. But why would he lie? Probably just for attention, she shrugged. And you fell for it, Andy laughed. Fuming, I stormed upstairs. My son had no reason to lie. Over the next couple of weeks, I kept my beady eyes on them. I noticed the looks they flashed at each other, and that their phones would often be pinging back and forth, as though they were exchanging messages. Then, one night, Andy left his Facebook up when he went out of the room, and I couldn't resist a peek. Sure enough, there were messages to Beth. Looks so hot today, one said. I can't wait to be alone with you, said another. I felt bile rise up in my throat. How could he be doing this with our teenage babysitter? When Andy came back, I exploded. How could you? I raged. She's 16. You're disgusting. He denied it, even when I told him I'd seen the Facebook messages. I'd had enough. It's best you leave, I said. You're the one ending the marriage. You leave, he retorted. I was gobsmacked. Was he kidding? I'm ending the marriage because you cheated on me with a teenage girl, I raged. I also have 3 kids to think of. Finally, he relented, but took the bed and the microwave with him. So petty. Once he'd gone, I confronted Beth. You'll be happy to know Andy and I are over. Why would I be happy? She said, playing dumb. I didn't want to be too hard, as she was vulnerable. But I was thankful when I noticed the next morning that she'd packed her stuff. I knew where she was going. Silly girl. Sure enough, a few weeks later, I heard she was staying in a caravan with Andy. When word got out about what happened, the whole town turned against them. People on the street started hurling abuse at them, and Andy had rude words sprayed all across his ute. Eventually, they moved towns. I was glad I no longer had to run the risk of bumping into them. In time, I divorced Andy and moved on. 4 years later, I received a text from a friend. You'll never guess who's on TV, she said. I flipped over to the channel she mentioned, and my mouth hung open in shock. The program, Age Gap Love, Andy and Beth were boasting about their relationship. It revealed they were now married and with 2 children. Good luck to them.
I just hope Beth knows that when she gets too old for him, Andy will be trading her in for a younger model. It's just what he does, the rat. Andy claimed the marriage fell apart because Samantha rekindled her relationship with her ex, which she denies. He said, Samantha reported us to the police, to which no action was taken due to no evidence. This shows I did nothing wrong, and neither did Beth.
We married when she was 18. Perfectly legal. What's your story? True Tales wants to hear it. If you also have any such moment, you can share it in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you like my story. Subscribe to this channel to watch more such videos and press the bell icon for more updates.
Hey y'all, this is Sarah, and today I will tell you the story of how my twin's boyfriend made me pregnant by mistake. I broke into a cheesy grin as the DJ started to play my favorite song. Baby, you're a firework. I screamed along to the Katy Perry hit, surrounded by friends. 2 girlfriends and I were at our favorite venue, celebrating the end of a long week. My twin sister Jen was supposed to come with us, but she had a headache and decided to stay home. This one's for Jen! We cheered with our glasses in the air as the track changed to a Sean Paul song. Midway through my gleeful boogie, I jolted as I felt a pair of hands loop around my waist. Hey you, the stranger whispered into my ear. I whirled around to see a stunning, dark-haired guy wearing a button-down shirt smiling at me. My cheeks flushed at his forwardness, but with a few vodka tonics in me, I embraced it. For hours we danced together, oblivious to the world around us. Do you want a drink? I asked as I emptied my glass. No thanks, I'm the designated driver tonight, he replied. But I'd love some fresh air. I followed him off the dance floor and we spilled out of the club and onto the street. I leaned against a wall as he drew a packet of cigarettes out of his pocket and lit one up. The chemistry between us was undeniable, even if we had only just met. Once he had finished his cigarette, he pulled me in for a pash. I've been waiting to do that all night. Come with me. Let's go somewhere more private. Butterflies fluttered about in my stomach in anticipation as he led me off to a side street where he unlocked a red Holden Commodore. He opened the back door for me. After you, he said, and waved me in. In the car, things heated up quickly, and it wasn't long before we'd ripped each other's clothes off and made passionate love. The windows steamed up around us, and I tried not to think about what anyone passing by might see. Once it was over, I went to put my clothes back on. I can't believe we haven't done this before, he laughed. I wasn't sure what he meant by the comment, but I brushed it off. When we stepped out of the car, I decided to go home while he was going back to find his friends in the club. He pulled me in for a hug and kissed me on the head. See you later, Jen. Don't wait up, he said, before pulling away and strolling back up the street. I stood in stunned silence as I watched him walk off. Did he just call me by my sister's name? It suddenly dawned on me that the guy I had just slept with had mistaken me for my identical twin, Jen. We looked exactly the same, but her hair was shorter than mine. People mistook us all of the time. She too was a regular at the nightclub. I'd been too tipsy to even consider this as an option. I thought he just liked me. When he was being forward, I assumed he was just confident, but he thought I was someone he knew. I was mortified. Tears streamed down my face as I walked home. Jen had mentioned a boy she was seeing that she met at the club, but I never put 2 and 2 together. I had made a huge mistake, and I couldn't even tell Jen. It would break her heart. When I got home, I buried my head in my pillow and wept myself to sleep. The following day, I swore that I would keep the tryst a secret and never tell another soul what happened. As the weeks rolled by, I tried to put the whole ordeal behind me. Where did you sneak off to the other night? A friend of mine asked. Oh, I wasn't feeling too well, so I decided to go home, I lied. When she asked me if I was free to go for another night out, I checked my diary. As I scanned the dates, it dawned on me that I'd missed my period.
I was 5 days late. My heart thumped as I raced to the chemist to pick up a pregnancy test. Surely I wasn't pregnant. When I got home, I peed on the stick and spent 2 agonizing minutes waiting for the result. As it came up, I let out a wail. It was positive. I hadn't slept with anyone since the boy in the club. His name was Jono, and he and Jen had become an official couple. How had I gotten myself into this mess? I decided I would tell people half of the truth. I would say that I slept with a guy after a night out at the club, but I didn't know his name. At the time, that was true. The following day, I knew I had to tell Jen. When I got to her house, I fumbled nervously with my sleeve as she answered the door. Jen, I'm pregnant. I slept with a guy on a night out, but I don't remember his name. It came out of my mouth like vomit. I looked down at the floor, ashamed. I didn't want to see the expression on her face, but she was so supportive. Sarah, that is amazing. You're going to have a mini-me running around. I couldn't be happier for you, she said. Her encouragement felt like a knife to the heart. She was being lovely, but I was stabbing her in the back. As my pregnancy progressed, her relationship with Jono went from strength to strength. They even planned to move in together. When she introduced us, I pretended I'd never met him. Every time I saw Jen, the truth was on the tip of my tongue, but I could never muster the courage to tell her. I wished she would just dump the guy so that the issue would just go away. But that didn't happen. At 38 weeks, I gave birth to a healthy baby boy, and I called him Brock. One thing I know is that I can never tell anyone who the father is. From the moment Brock was born, I fell in love, and he brings meaning to my life. For now, Brock and I have each other, and that is enough. What's your story? True Tales wants to hear it. If you also have any such moment, you can share it in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you liked my story. Subscribe to this channel to watch more such videos, and press the bell icon for more updates.